including Congressman Brad Wenstrup, who wants to clarify one or two things where he disagrees with Steve Roberts. And good to have you on the program, Congressman. How you been?
I'm doing all right, but thanks for having me on to say a few things here.
Yeah. All right. So what did he say? Were you? I guess he made some points about things the Congress did or said, and you said that was simply not true.
Yeah, he was referring to the Ukraine situation, and he was giving more an opinion or talking points against Republicans, basically saying Republicans want to get out of Ukraine and this and that. And that isn't necessarily true, and it isn't true really at all. As a matter of fact, if you look at the last supplemental is on the House floor, supplemental for Ukraine, there were several veterans, especially from Intelligence Committee, that voted against it, not because we're not for it. We may even be for more funding. It depends on what it's going for. And so what we're concerned about is what are we spending the money on, and what is the mission of in Ukraine? Is it to drive Russia out? What are we trying to accomplish? And so several of us got together, and it's all veterans, and there were 5 of us that worked with Mike Garcia, who really led it. We put together a 15-page paper of what we would like to see funding go towards in Ukraine. What we feel is missing is a commander-in-chief sitting in the Oval Office explaining to America what we're spending money on and why,
right,
and what is our goal. The president has just said, we're in it for as long as it takes. Well, that's not a mission statement, and it's hard to respond to that. So we actually put one together, and it's a 15-pager. We actually had it printed, published. It was actually taken by Speaker Mike Johnson, and Mike Turner, who's the chair of the Intelligence Committee, took it to the White House last week, and it was well received. So he was wrong in saying that, this is all Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's behind this, and to want to withdraw from the world. That it's far be it. And that's really pretty much where Republicans stand, is that we want to know what we're spending money on and what we hope to accomplish with it. And so since we're not getting it from the White House, we put something together to open up the conversation. And I hope we will have a good conversation with the White House on how we want to proceed in Ukraine to defeat Russia and drive them out of Ukraine.
Well, I agree with you there, and that's my thing is if the idea has to be to win, and if you're not going to supply them with what they need to win, then what are we doing? But I'm a firm believer that Ukraine should win, and we should help them win.
Absolutely. And one of the proposals that we really have is that let the United States provide the weapons and intelligence and help with the planning that the Ukrainians can pull off and complete the mission. And we really want Europe to contribute more on the humanitarian aid front. It has, Europe has vested interest in this too, obviously. Sure. So we actually, put together a plan to talk about how we can do this together with our allies and have a serious conversation rather than just putting a number out on the floor and throwing it out there and say we're going to deliver this much in aid and assistance. Well, what is it for, and what do we hope to accomplish?
All right. What about
that's where I think Steve Roberts. Go ahead.
What about the new speaker, Mike Johnson? He voted against it, I guess, the last time it came up for funding. Do you know what his thought process was? Or is?
Yeah, he's the one who brought our proposal over to the White House. It was in the same vein, people reacted when they saw these veterans on Intelligence Committee saying no to the supplemental. At that time, we said, it's not that we're against it. We want a plan, and we'll help put together a plan, so let's do that, and we did it. And now it's up for conversation because we weren't seeing what we need out of the White House and from the commander-in-chief to be able to say what we want to accomplish there. So Mike Johnson's with us. He brought that over, and he said to us last night in our conference telephone call that it was well received. Jake Sullivan has it, and hopefully it'll open up engagement on how we go ahead and spend money in Ukraine to defeat Russia.
Did you have a dollar amount attached to what you proposed, your group?
No, not exactly, but we recommended what types of weaponry we thought would be helpful. Again, this is coming from veterans, and there were 5 of us along with Mike Garcia. Mike was the mainstay. He's a Navy pilot, and we also got other members starting to sign on to it. And as like I said, it was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee and the Speaker of the House bringing it to the White House over the weekend.
Well, good. That's the direction I'd like to see it go, so we'll follow that for the next few days and see what shakes out. But Brad,
Yeah, I'd be glad to get you. Glad to get you a copy of it.
that'd be fantastic. I'm sure it'd be some light reading, no doubt. No doubt.
For sure.
All right, Brad Wenstrup,
Thanks,
I appreciate you checking in. Take care. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
You
Bye.
bet. It's coming up on 9 o'clock.